Welcome to the Crossing King Garage, where we inspect, we investigate, we invigorate all of the things that really don't matter to anybody about anything. We are the quintessential place for the unimportant. That's according to many people who don't like trivial things. We love trivial things. And if you like trivial things, this is your garage because this is the place where we talk about books, music, video, iconic thing, television, fantastical type stuff that really, in the context of the universe of the world, doesn't mean much. But they're important to us, and maybe they're important to you too, as a part of the Crossing Kin family. Hi, I'm Randy.
And I'm
And
Kristen.
she's blown away now by my intro and everything. She wasn't expecting that.
Remember, this is why I never. Ugh.
So we're
Anyway,
excited to be here with you
very
today
excited.
for a new kind of ish ranking for us.
Yeah. So we've expressed before in the past that we really liked the crime procedural Bones. We did a Bones versus CSI. Somewhere up above mine and Dad's head, there should be a card linking you to that video. Go check it out. It's actually kind of fun.
We want a reboot. We want a reboot.
I mean, David's a little bit busy
He's
for
busy.
a reboot.
I mean, he's doing most
Rockford
beautiful
Fire.
casting
Rockford
ever.
Files. I'm
You know,
excited
David
about
Boreanaz coming on as Jim Rockford, James Garner's role. James Garner's daughter is on Twitter all the time talking about how absolutely wonderful Boreanaz is in this.
We're excited for
We
Rockford Files.
cannot wait for the Rockford
I
Files.
think
Congratulations.
It should actually be premiering in the next couple of months. But yes, David Boreanaz was the star. Emily Deschanel was technically the star because it was named for her character. But after season 3, when we lost one of the cast members was written out of the show. Bones got a batch of a rotation of these beings called Squinterns.
Now, before we go on, you must remember that Bones was taken off of a book series
by Kathy Reichs,
who in and of herself was probably the person that the Bones character was taken off of. She was a forensic anthropologist
that helped solve some crimes. I want to say she did live in Quebec. Like, the books take place in Quebec. I think that is where Kathy Reichs lived at the time, as well as worked.
And it follows the team that surrounds Bones, so to speak, including FBI detective, Special Agent Booth, who they go around solving crimes that really take a lot of sciencey type things to figure them out. This went on for 13 seasons,
12.
Kristen? 12 seasons. And no kidding though. I would love to see even a 2-hour movie of a Bones reunion. I think all of the cast members would be up for it.
Yeah.
We would like to see, come along, tell us where they are now, solve a crime, show us the kids grown up, that kind of thing.
I mean, Aubrey is on FBI for CBS, but hey, maybe do the next iteration of Bones. And if you desperately need a character, we've got a couple of Squinterns that could possibly be around.
Tell us what a Squintern is.
All right, so after Zach Addy was written out of the show, we got this group of interns that began helping Bones as the anthropology bit of the case.
Some of them were doctors and some of them were
Most of them at the time were strictly interns. I think at the beginning only Clark was actually a doctor.
Right. And
because we got introduced to him in season 3. He was a helper.
Majority of them were medical students.
Yes, they were studying to get their doctorate. And over the course of the show, all but I think one of them became doctors, and we will actually all but 2 of them, and we'll get to why those 2 didn't in a minute. But because the scientists in Bones are referred to as squints because they squint at things, the interns became lovingly known as Squinterns.
A label given to them by David Boreanaz's character Booth.
Well, yeah, Booth gave them the label of squints, but the fans started calling them Squinterns, and it got adopted by the show.
Yeah.
Because at one point, Bones says, I need a Squintern to help me. Now, let me make something clear. We are only talking about the official Squinterns. We are not going to talk about Betty White's character of Dr. Mayer or David Alan Greer.
Yeah.
Or David Alan Greer's Bunsen Jude, the science dude. Betty White had 2 episodes. He was only in 1, but he did get a mention in another one. We're not going to talk about them because they were very special guest stars. These folks actually, these were regular parts for them.
And we're doing a ranking of our favorites based on just
we are ranking all the Squinterns.
Who we like,
Yeah.
Honestly.
This is based
They
on
were
personality.
a huge
Huge part.
variety of personalities,
Uh-huh.
some of which you really, really disliked and had a great disdain for initially, but you came along to tolerate, and some of them you actually came along
Grew to
to
love.
really, really love them. And so
And we're going to talk
we
about
love
that
Bones.
as we go
If
down the
you've
ranking.
never seen it, if you want a great show to binge, man, go get it.
I think it's on Hulu/Disney Plus now, because it was distributed by Fox, so it
Right.
should be on Hulu/Disney Plus. I mean, it'll take you a hot minute to binge it, but it's a worthy binge if you need something to binge while you're waiting on your shows to come back.
It has a good balance of comedy, but I mean, enough comedy at the right spot. It is
It's
kind of
gross.
gruesome
It's not
in
for the faint of
spots.
heart.
It is not for the faint of heart, and it pushed the edge, especially when it first came out for television censors and everything. But it's a good show. It's a good show.
All right. So there are only 10 official Squinterns. And like I said, we went through every single one of them. I even have actor names and the episodes they appeared in.
Okay, we're going to go
10 to 1.
10 to 1. Okay.
Like a proper ranking should.
Like a proper ranking should.
All right.
And now, on with the countdown.
At number 10 in our ranking, we have Oliver Wells, as played by Brian Klugman. He was only in 8 episodes. I despise this character. I despise him. I do not like him. He is Mr. Know-It-All. He thinks he's smarter than Bones. Yet he's still in the white jacket. They may refer to him as doctor, but he never got upgraded to the blue jacket that all the doctors wear.
He was a snarky character.
He was so snarky.
He was just he was that know-it-all. He was one of those characters you really never ever grew to love.
He never really meshed with the team. Like sometimes he would get along well with Hodgins, and then he'd say something really rude that would just be like, and Hodgins would just be like, "Dude, why are you like this?"
Not a very likable character.
Not super likable. At number 9 on our ranking, we have Rodolfo Fuentes. I know I just mispronounced that, and I apologize to every person that is Spanish speaking. I apologize for not being able to pronounce that last name. Rodolfo was played by Ignacio Cerricho, and he was in 9 episodes total. So I like Rodolfo a little bit better than I liked Wells, mostly because he actually did have some respect and depth to him. Also,
I have to say though, let's face it, he came along as a sexy Latin guy.
Yes, he came along to be pretty.
Okay, which he's a very handsome character. Very handsome character. They played into that.
Be in their 200th episode when they did like the old school detective noir type episode. It was really funny. It was so fun. They played into that by having him basically be Ricky Ricardo.
And it was great.
It was great. It was so much fun.
He is a good character actor. He is one of those that was endearing. And not one that could be teachable. Yes. And obviously teachable, but had a wealth of knowledge too that he brought to the table.
But he wasn't snarky about how smart he was.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's why he was.
I would say I'd go so far as to say he was pretty humble about it all.
He was. Yeah. He was very humble
as a character.
He was a shameless flirt. Like he flirted with every single woman in his first episode, but that stopped after the first episode.
Right.
They only played into that for the first episode. After that, he was just one of the crew.
I'm sure that they felt the caricature was off.
Yes.
And off-putting.
Yes.
To many people, and became a likable, very likable character.
Yeah.
One that you look forward to seeing the Squintern come.
Yes, I think he also was technically a doctor already, but I don't remember if we referred to him as Mr. Fuentes or Dr. Fuentes.
Was he not a doctor in his native land?
Yes, he was a doctor
was coming
in Cuba,
to get certification,
Colombia?
Something like that. Yeah, getting certification in the United States. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's what it was. Up next, we have Jessica Warren, as played by Laura Spencer. She was in 11 episodes, and part of the reason she was in as many episodes as she was for a very brief time, she dated James Aubrey, who was who he basically became Booth's field partner. Anytime Brennan got pregnant after Aubrey joined the show, she started staying in the lab more. Aubrey started going out with Booth more, and they became a very good team. But for a little while, Jessica dated Aubrey, and they were cute. But I think part of the reason we put Jessica this low was because of, again, how they introduced her. She was a very vibes based scientist, let's say. She also kind of grew up in a cult for a
Yeah, I
commune.
don't remember her being very likable
She
on her introduction, and she's one of those characters that you didn't necessarily grow to love, but you grew to tolerate.
she also introduced the character of Bones to Twitter, and that was just the cringiest little side plot in an episode, and it was because of this character.
Yeah, she was a
So
hippie.
she was a hippie.
Yeah,
She was absolutely,
she was the
again,
hippie for the
her
show.
interaction with Aubrey was cute, but I think everybody was glad when that relationship kind of petered out.
Yeah.
And Aubrey got with the other redhead that was an option, who was a little bit more likable
Right.
to most people. Again, Jessica wasn't a bad character. She was really, really off in turn. She was kind of the manic pixie dream girl in the lab.
Manic pixie dream girl. I like that description. I'll have to use that sometime.
Well,
That's
just
pretty. You pulled that from your
no.
source, didn't you?
Well, no,
Manic
it is a
pixie dream
it
girl.
is a TV trope.
Oh, okay.
Zoe Deschanel plays that type of character a lot.
Okay, I could see that.
Just
Yeah.
look, Google
How
manic
many
pixie dream
episodes
girl.
did you say she was in?
11
Okay.
total. She was introduced in the same season that Aubrey got introduced in, so she had about 3 seasons to
Off and
play.
on, yeah.
To play in. All right, up next at number 7 we have Colin Fisher, as played by Joel David Moore. Now, he was only in 16 episodes. I was surprised at how few episodes he was in, but then I remembered they had to kind of write him out because Joel got Avatar, and then he got Forever, and then they just never really brought him back because he kept doing other little side movies. Joel
And they played Avatar beautifully in Bones.
Yes, they had
They
him,
played his
Sweets,
connection to Avatar,
and
him, Sweets, and
Hodgins
Hodgins. That was
for
so
it. And then his
funny
character missed the movie
because he's doing other
other
things. Other things. He
was
was
the goth, the
he
depressing goth.
he was that character again. A lot of these Squinterns, you really didn't like them upon their introduction.
Fisher.
He grew on you.
Always liked Fisher.
You know, but I thought he was better whenever he was happy.
Near the at the end,
Near the end, yeah.
At the end of the series,
near the end of the series when
Yeah.
he was a happy guy.
His relationship with Hodgins, I think,
Oh,
was
exquisite,
really
yeah.
what wound up endearing everybody.
Yeah,
Because it was clear that he and Hodgins at least hung out outside of the lab.
yeah.
Sometimes the Squinterns do hang out with the it's implied the Squinterns hang out with the rest of the lab folks outside of the lab. Fisher is one of the few that it was like, oh yeah, these guys absolutely hang out.
They're buds.
Outside.
Yeah.
And like the way they wrote him out, they never explained where he went or why we stopped seeing him. But then when they brought him back in near the end of this series, they said, oh, he got a job tutoring some very important he got his doctorate and then wound up going to basically do the homework for some rich kid. It was hilarious how they wrote him out and then brought him back in. But I liked Fisher. I really did, especially the more we saw him.
Sure. I'm a little surprised at 11 episodes because it seemed like
16,
it was
16.
I'm sorry, 16. Seemed like it was a lot more than that.
It did. All right, up next we have Finn Abernathy at number 6, as played by Luke Kleintank. He was only in 8 episodes, and again, part of the reason that this character was in so few episodes is because the actor, he got Man in the High Castle on Prime, and then he got FBI International on CBS. So the actor's career took off, and he just didn't have time to be a Squintern on Bones. This was the Southern Squintern.
We liked Finn from the beginning.
We liked Finn.
We liked him from the beginning. Maybe it was because he was the one we could understand the easiest. You know,
he had a line when he's pointing to an anomaly on the bones. He says, "This thing right here, it's as odd as my cousin Bobby." But he also had a very interesting backstory where like he had been in juvie and all that stuff. Like, but the reason he was in juvie was because he got arrested for protecting his mother, basically.
Right.
Like his mom was in an abusive relationship, and he smacked the guy around and got in trouble
It
for it.
seemed that they were going to try and work him in as a series
I
regular
think they wanted to
until he got Man in High Castle, and they wrote the romantic relationship that he had
with
with
Cam's
Michelle, with
daughter.
Cam's daughter, out of the whole
Yeah.
process. And I mean, great actor. We loved
I
him
hate the
in
way that they wrote him out though, because they did imply that he cheated on Michelle,
True.
and they
The kind of gentleman that he was
that
prior to
that
that would not
implication
have
should
been
not have been there.
that was kind of out of character for it.
So, again, that might just be an implication. We don't know, but they made it like he made money with hot sauce that he made with Hodgins, and then money went to his head or something. Like they really took away his humble roots just because they needed a way to write him out. They couldn't just be like he gone like they were with Fisher
Right.
because he had such
Right.
ties to everybody in the show. Like
Right.
they'd integrated him really well
with most of the main characters in several different ways, with the exception of Booth. He and Booth never really hit it
He and
off.
Booth never shared a scene.
Right. They weren't together very often, if at all. So,
if they ever shared screen time, except briefly on the platform.
yeah.
So, all right, at number 5, we have Clark. Clark Edison, as played by Eugene Bird. He had the second most appearances of the Squinterns in 36.
And
Now,
this is the dude who was the
the first one.
Rule. You don't disobey the rules.
First.
At first. And I mean,
exceedingly professional. That was
he
something
got obliterated,
yes.
and
oh my gosh.
he got
it's like I don't remember his girlfriend, which he had talked about like from the beginning of the show, being in a very committed relationship. But again, he was the first Squintern we were ever introduced to
Right.
because he was part of Brennan's dad's legal team in
Right.
season 3. Like
Right.
he premiered in season 3. He had taken Zach's job because Zach had left, but then Zach came back, so he lost his job.
Yeah.
And then he was part of Brennan's dad's legal team.
There's so much tension around Clark in a lot of most of the episodes. And he's fun. He doesn't want the attention, and it is a fun kind of not really tongue in cheek, but it is a distraction sometimes, not in a bad way, but it is a welcome distraction to some of the seriousness that is going on in the show at that moment.
Clark, when his girlfriend dumped him, something happened to Clark, and he stopped being very professional.
He is corrupted by the rest of the team.
It got weird. Like, don't get me wrong, Clark is still one of my favorites. Like, he's at number 5 for a reason.
Right.
We loved him, but I think I liked original Clark more than later seasons Clark. All right, at number 4, we have the one that makes us cry. We have Vincent Nigel Murray. He was the British Squintern. He was played by Ryan Cartwright, and he was only in 11 episodes. Again, but here's the thing. Where everybody else who got other jobs were politely written out of the show, when Ryan Cartwright got alphas,
they killed him.
They had Arnold Vosloo sniper him.
They sniped him. And I mean, well, here, let's qualify. Again, go back to his beginnings. He was one that was a little annoying.
Encyclopedia of knowledge with his useless facts that helped him focus.
He was kind of like Crossing Ken in the lab.
Which is why we loved him.
But he was annoying. He was annoying at first, as all the Squinterns were.
Because we missed Zach.
Because they'd set up Zach Addy as such a lovable character for the lab.
Used to Zach.
And as tragic as Zach was, Nigel Murray's
his last words, him just kind of pleading, I don't want to leave. I I love it here. Please don't make me leave. Like, how dare you?
It was heart-wrenching.
Dare you, Hart Hansen?
It was heart-wrenching.
And like we mourned him for 2 episodes, and then Hodgins and Angela named their kid after.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever
he gets a little placard in the lab, honoring him.
The writing in Bones is one of those things.
We never got over him.
That is it's what made it so good. And the fact that this particular episode where he was killed was just it changed the trajectory of the show in a lot of different ways. It changed the writing. It changed the nuance
It made you feel like
because
no one was safe when you killed a baby Squintern.
the lab had been violated.
The lab had been
The lab
violated
had been violated in a different way
than
than it
ever
had
before.
ever before. It had had some intrusions before, but this was a major violation on their family.
Mhm.
And not even Bones, who was a very, very non-emotional type
She
character,
sobbed.
was wrecked by this particular
The
incident.
Vincent was your favorite for a
Absolutely,
while. He
because
was
he was the
British and he
trivial
was the
guy.
trivia
He was
guy.
the trivia guy. I mean, all of these
I
facts and
said
figures, and
useless
it's
facts.
just, and they were just, and he won the lottery. He
And
won the
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy, and it's just such a likable
And then
character.
he like had a little bender thing and did a bunch of stuff while drunk, and so he started confessing to that as part of the 12 steps, making amends, and like it was just
It was
adorable.
excellent, excellent writing with
Like,
him, with
right.
that character.
I wish Alphas had lasted longer for
True,
Ryan's
yeah.
sake because of how dramatically they killed him off. But also, I wish Ryan would get more. The last thing I saw him in was a micro part in Independence Day Resurgence.
Hmm.
So, Ryan Cartwright, we think you're an excellent actor. At number 3, we have Daisy Wick as played by Carla Gallo. She was in 33 episodes. Nobody liked Daisy at first. Nobody. They fired her twice. Not the show. Bones fired her twice.
I mean, the actors on the show didn't like her. The public,
Her, but the public fans didn't.
the
The
character,
characters.
the
Thank you.
character, the
Said
character
actors.
was just so overtly annoying. And I think she and Clark both were
They switched.
probably, well, no, wait a minute, let me finish.
Okay.
They were probably going to be written in as returning characters, added to the permanent cast. I think
Mm-hmm.
on the very long term, um, until the show ended, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe that was their trajectory. She and Clark would take over perhaps as the next round,
Yeah.
or not necessarily
Yeah.
that Booth and Brennan ride off into the sunset or anything, but that they,
Which
or
they kind of did.
perhaps would have had a spinoff or something,
Yeah.
because she was in so many episodes, but her character kept getting in. I mean, she did become a part of the family,
Her
literally.
relationship with Sweets really did define her character for a little bit.
Oh
But then
yeah,
they broke up for a little bit, and suddenly Daisy started getting a little bit better in her
likable. Yeah,
appearances. She started getting a bit more of a backbone and started really focusing on her doctorate stuff. Then she and Sweets got back together, but she didn't change back to giddy little schoolgirl Daisy. She
yeah.
maintained the maturity she had gained during their break. And then
Again,
after
just
Sweets' death and her having their kid, she really got good. Like, I
she
love the
matured.
trajectory with
The character
Daisy.
matured, and Hart Hanson is to be applauded. The
And
writing, the
Steven
writing just
something.
continually got better and better with Bones.
Yeah, Daisy is one of those characters that everybody started hating, and then she grew into a character that made it to the top 3 of
She
our
comes into
ranking.
3.
She is at 3. Yeah.
Number 3. We've got 2 left on our countdown.
All right. At
Number
number
2.
2, we have Wendell Bray as played by Michael Grant Terry. He was in 42 episodes. He is the Squintern with the most
Wow.
appearances. He was in the first episode of season 4 and then was in the most episodes out of all the Squinterns. Now, he was my favorite. He was the cute, down to earth boy. He dated Angela for a little while, so he was integrated with the cast. He was all Even after he and Angela broke up, he was one of Hodgins' best friends. He played hockey with Booth outside of the lab. He was credited as having the most potential by Brennan.
He was the boy next door.
He was the boy next door.
I mean, he was the boy next door character for the show.
They gave him freaking cancer, and so everybody was worried about him. They created a job for him so that he wouldn't lose anything. Like, everybody loved him. Now, y'all may be wondering, if we love him so much, why is he only at number 2? Let me tell you, it's because they didn't let him finish his journey. His whole character arc had been to repay the people that had paid for him to go to school. Everybody in his neighborhood in New York gathered money and paid for him to go to school so that he could become a doctor. His whole, a forensic anthropologist doctor. his whole goal was to get a permanent job at a lab somewhere and then start paying those people back. I'm sure from his paycheck at the Jeffersonian, he started paying those people back. Like, I'm sure that's what happened. But he never became a doctor. In one of his last appearances, he straight up says, I'm throwing away the last decade I've spent at this lab and I'm going to go find myself.
Which was a little out of
It
character.
was so out of character for him.
Yeah.
They made, like, I don't know if they just wanted a character that says, hey, you know what? This isn't the life for me. If you wanted to do that with Jessica, because she's the one that would
Yeah,
absolutely do that.
they turned
Wendell
him
was not.
into the quintessential Jack Kerouac, and it was not in his character.
No.
You know, this that I'm glad you mentioned that, because
Mhm.
that is one of the only instances writing wise where I think that they missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, you would love to have seen
Wendell should have been
him
the.
going back home,
Mhm.
taking a massive payout of a check to the
To the
people,
people,
you
yeah.
know, it's just kind of,
Becoming the forensic for anthropologist for New York. Like, let him go work for Mac Taylor at
yeah, let him
CSI.
go somewhere, you know, and that was a big misstep. It certainly
Like,
was,
it hurts because Wendell was,
making
again,
him number two.
credited by Bones as having the most potential of all of her interns at one point, and then you just walk away.
Let's make this very clear
We
too.
still love Wendell.
He was the cool boy next door.
He was
Okay,
also the most normal of all the
he was
Squinters.
the most normal of all the Squinters.
Booth even said, like I said, he and Booth hung out outside of work because
Right.
they played hockey together. So
So,
even
Kristen, that leaves us questioning. Out of all of our Squinterns, have you got it derived yet, Bones fans? Do you know which one is number one?
Aristube Vaziri, as played by Pei Vedat, he was in 31 episodes total. Aristube was another character that I did not like. He was a stereotype when he
True
was
that.
first introduced.
Yes.
And then they had him drop the accent. And
Which was
with
one
Cam, I
just
will add.
it was one of those head scratching moments.
Well, here's the thing. His explanation for why he was faking a Middle Eastern accent, I forget where he was actually from. I want to say it was Iran. It was Iran or Iraq, and I apologize for not remembering. But his explanation for talking like he just came off the boat was that made people a little less rude towards him being an active Muslim. Whereas if he actually had like an American accent, people just gave him a side eye, like, oh, oh, you're the T word. Like, I'm going to be it made people a little less mean and rude and awful towards him.
it made for an interesting character study.
But again, when he dropped his accent again with Cam, he started becoming such a better relatable character. And
and
I,
a better doctor too overall. You know,
because he
the
wasn't
character.
playing a stereotype.
Right, he wasn't playing the stereotype, and he and Cam's relationship later on was absolutely
I
precious.
loved their
It
relationship.
was precious,
He was
and
such a good supportive boyfriend, and they gave him a lot of really dramatic work to do, which Pay did amazing.
yes,
I loved Aristu again, especially once we get into like seasons 5 and 6, and he actually starts becoming, again, because he's not having to focus on his accent, he starts becoming more assertive, more focused, and he does become a doctor. Like, he becomes a doctor around the same time he starts dating Cam. Maybe a little after he starts dating Cam. Anyway, Aristu was excellent for Cam. He hung out with Bones and Booth and others outside of work. He and Hodgins had a decent relationship, and it seemed like he had a pretty good relationship with the other Squinterns.
right,
Because we did a few Squinterns Unite episodes,
yep.
and he was in both of them. And had decent play off of the other Squinterns,
Which
as
was really
well.
interesting. I'm glad you mentioned those couple of 2 or 3 episodes where the Squinterns united to solve the case, and the main cast stepped away
Mm-hmm.
more or less.
Yeah,
And it was
Bones.
interesting to see the character dynamics really come to the forefront of each and every one of them, their strengths as well as their weaknesses. That was a great, again, the writing in Bones, I would say through all the seasons, was just absolutely excellent. Couple of hiccups, couple of head scratching moments, but that's with any television show that lasts longer than a decade. We love the Squinterns, and there's our ranking of them. What do you think? I mean, tell us. If
Should
you're a
Wendell have been
Bones
number
lover,
one?
Should Wendell have been number one? Should some of the others have risen the ranks? Even maybe some of those who only had, half a dozen, maybe to a dozen episodes.
Do y'all despise Wells as much as I do?
Should they all come back if there's a Bones revival?
I mean, all of them have said they'd be more than willing to do at least a couple episodes if they ever revive Bones.
I'm not sure they need a episode. I think a 2-hour film could do a lot.
I would like a reboot, but I want it with a new cast.
Yeah.
Pay homage to the old, like, of course keep Nigel Murray's placard up, but just have a new cast, like, because
Maybe they could bring on some of the Squinterns as the new cast leads.
have Hodgins still be the king of the lab, because that's where we left off. Cam and Aristu were going to adopt boys and raise a family. Bones was taking a sabbatical. Hodgins was king of the lab. Bring Hodgins back as king of the lab and have him assemble a new team of squints to solve crime.
Or have this group be his main team and then come along with Angela.
Well, I mean,
obviously.
They're all anthropologists. That's the only reason I'm saying they need a new batch, because we'd need a pathologist, an entomologist, all that, if Hodgins is having to play politics.
Sure, but some of those had strengths that would lend themselves to that.
This is true. They all served under Hodgins
anyway,
at one point.
We love the TV show Bones. If you've not seen it, go binge watch it on a sweltering summer day or a rainy weekend if you happen to have the chance. It is 12 seasons long, so give yourself some time.
It's a good summer watch. That's what we did.
It's a good summer watch. It is a good summer watch. Excellent writing, excellent acting. For the most part, very, very likable characters.
There's a couple of uneven moments.
Couple of episodes.
That's any long-running TV show
that will wreck you if you get involved in the show. If you get emotionally tangled in the show, we love the show.
We love it.
And here in the Crossing King Garage, you've just seen the Squintern ranking from Bones.
Be sure to let us know what your ranking is down in the comments below. And while you're there, leave us a like, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you
ring that notification bell, because we want you to know when we post the next Crossing Kin video, so you can be even more a part of the family.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with another brand new episode. And until then, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Randy.
Bye.
Later.